going to continue on that one. This is Peggy Ann Childers, the name I have to use. Margaret Ann Windsor's my name. And this is where Larry Flint endorsed me when one of the doctors I wrote about in the medical malpractice book in Mind Control, the plane he was on, the KAL passenger plane, shot down by the Russians when it veered into their airspace August the 31st of 83. I found out about my real name and being brought to Moulton, Alabama. And this is me in 43. And I was given the name of a twin that was killed. Her mother killed her, Lina, and both twins were killed. So they shut it up, and I was put there. It's close to Cortland Air Base there back in 41. But what I wanted to get to was the mind control murders and the harassment and deliberately kept homeless by law enforcement. I had a letter from the FBI, June the 23rd of 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. We'll come to find out it really wasn't by U.S. Attorney Harper issued the letter. It was really who I am. But the mind control murders were done in patterns, and here's where I'm going. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, and you get his attorney killed, and the person was programmed. You get into, I was taken to Lawrence County, Alabama. Larry is just a nickname for Lawrence. Then you get into Larry Flint or Lawrence Flint, and by the way, his first wife's name was Peggy. And then you get into Larry McDonald or Lawrence McDonald, the Dr. Congressman plane going down. So that's just part of getting into patterns. It involves synchronicity in the timeline, and it can be proven. These can. Just like the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh even told everybody he had a chip put up in by the Army. So I'm getting away from what I wanted to say right now. The first time that I look back, one of the first times anyway, let me say that, I was living in Huntsville, and I don't know what year it was, 65 maybe, and then moved back to Atlanta in 67, I guess. But anyway, a barber, Larry Childress, cut my children's hair, and he offered to sell us his house. He was going to buy another one, he and his wife. He sold us his house, and I think it was called in Hazeland Square, suburb of Huntsville. Anyway, later it was said he committed suicide by turning his car on in the closed garage, and it had him down as killing himself. Well, I knew something was wrong with the whole thing, and there were several. It was a list of murders. I now know they were murders that were done in Huntsville, and some of them were personnel at the Redstone and NASA. But anyway, there's a list. But so later I wrote the book about mind control, and I thought that was why all the problems my children and I were having. So I'm going to fast forward to up here. After Flint furnished me a car for a year, I turned it back in, and I couldn't get jobs anymore, and I was literally on the side of the road. Came to Roanoke and lived on the Appalachian Trail, froze, starved, anything to keep alive, and keep off the side of the road from just walking. And it's not that people don't believe it, they do. One of the FBI agents, when I still had the Hustler car, and I was in Grottoes pumping gas for a living, and living behind a convenience store in a little camper, he used to come in, no he did, I don't know if it's his real name, and he said to me one day, he said, they made it so ludicrous today, he meant the FBI, that everybody knows you're telling the truth. It gives them a chance to help you or walk away. And, of course, in my case, they not only walked away, they helped hurt me. So I'm going out to something that just happened in the forest. Over the years, they've arrested me like 4 different times, and I went to jail and had no income for a while, most of that time. And it was really in conjunction, the arrest, like I showed the other day, the a warning that Eric gave me was on the day that Larry Flint was shot, the 3rd of, March the 3rd of 78. And of course, the warning he gave me was March, Mr. Flint was shot March the 6th, 78. The warning Eric gave me was March the 6th of '04, but it's using the day he was shot. But I'm trying to just give you the gist of the patterns. There's more to it, synchronicity and timeline. But they've run me over the years, and if you did a background check on me, you would not see 1 ounce of truth in it. I'm responding and trying to live, and they're picking up and telling lies about me. So the other day, I'm allergic to chemicals. I have an immune disorder, so if I'm around toxic fumes, it's very bad for me. My immune system attacks itself. So let me just shorten it here. I called a cab, and over a period of few days, I lost $500. I was ripped off. It's how it was done. Cab driver came to pick me up. I hadn't seen since '07, and I had always liked him. But anyway, I'm going to make a long story short. What ensued during the next few days was I ended up going camping, taking my stuff and going camping. And I contracted with him to take me to a certain spot. Well, he knows this area. He's grown up here, and I've been in the cab with him years ago when he knew the back roads to everywhere. Suddenly, a spot that he used to take me, he has bypassed it. He's meandered all around, and it ended up I finally had to go where I know was set up now between him and the ranger, Eric Smith. I got out there, and no sooner, I'm 76 years old. I can hardly walk from all the life that I've been forced to lead. I no sooner he left, and I paid him $100, and wasn't where I wanted to go or anything. And I'm leaving out some other stuff I put on another tape about being. Anyway, what I wanted to get to here was Eric Smith was not an hour, maybe 2 at the most, after the cab dropped me off. He was there yelling and wouldn't leave, brought in a Fincastle cot. I'm sitting there. I can't walk. I've just drug this stuff back, and he's trying to say that I'm too close to the road. So anyway, the point I want to make, and I'm going to stop because maybe this is more documentary than anything. He gave me a warning, and by the way, he immediately called the same cab that just dropped me off. This time he comes back, and he's in what looks like a brand new car to me, and I'm apologizing to the cab driver because I haven't gotten the gist of this was made up and it was a ripoff, because it ended up costing me a good bit of money, and I'm sitting here ready at 11 o'clock today. I've got to be out. I thought I had to leave yesterday, and I have no funds. They made sure it's how they did it. But he did give me a warning, and he even put, I don't know why he put the cab driver, because now he's got his car come back to pick me up. So there was no reason to include him in it that I knew of at the time anyway. But the point I wanted to make, and whether it makes sense to anyone or not, there are people, if they listen to this, they'll understand. All the time that I've known Eric, over the years, and I think Eric was up there at the forestry in Full Heart Knob in about 93. I believe that was it. So it's been that long. He has never referred to me as Childers. That's how it's pronounced. That was my husband's name. And I keep it because I can't get my real name back yet. And he's always called me Childers, Chil as in Childers. Always. I would correct him. He never varied. And I can be wrong, and I'll say that now. But I started thinking something was all wrong with what happened out there. First of all, him coming there right on like on cue. And I was reminded they have to service how many campgrounds and the forestry and all this. And he's Johnny on the spot all the time. Like, anyway,